Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization, or NOBRO, was founded by a group of Native Oklahoma residents that have been involved in Sasquatch research and investigations for the past 15 years. These investigators and researchers come from all walks of life. They represent tribal affiliations from the Choctaw, Creek, and Cherokee nations. The NOBRO receives and responds to reports from all over the state of Oklahoma. They have conducted investigations that involve tribal, public, and private land. They have responded to reports that have occurred within hours of the witness seeing something, to reports that are years old in nature. Please visit our official website. I will provide a link in the description of this video. Also check out the NOBRO Bigfoot Sightings database. I will provide a link to the description of this video. That's the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization. Now, let's get back to Squatch Ranger Files. Hey guys, this is Ryan from Squatch Ranger YouTube channel. I had a phone call last week from an eyewitness. I'm on private property today in Muskogee County, and this eyewitness and his daughter were walking back to their house on this farmyard, on this property, and they heard a sound. The eyewitness is familiar with all the wildlife sounds in this area, and the sound kind of stumped him. In the house and researched on the internet, started listening to animal sounds, trying to match what they heard. They couldn't find a match, and so they're just kind of stumped, and so they kind of called me to come out here and do a nighttime investigation, look around, just have a look-see. The sound they heard back here. There's a creek behind me, and that's the direction the sound came from. And so we're going to go check that out tonight with some night vision. We're going to go to another location that's even further back, away from civilization, people, houses. Well, we're just going to kind of hang out and see if we hear anything, see if we see anything in the night vision. So that's the purpose of our investigation today. There are sightings in Muskogee County. On the BFRO website, there's 2 Class A sightings where they actually saw a creature. And on my database that I'm keeping, I have a couple from Muskogee County, 1 Class A sighting, and that was just nearby at Haskell Lake, which is pretty close to here. So there are sightings, there are reports. We'll keep you advised as we go. Okay, so this is the spot where the eyewitness's daughter took a picture of the moon, kind of showing these 2 trees that I've framed about right from the picture. I'm showing it in the daylight, and I'm going to do a side-by-side with the daylight and the moon picture. Okay, so I'm with the eyewitness right now, and this is where he keeps the chickens. Now, last week when he heard the sound, I don't know how it relates with each other, but he said he heard the sound last week, I think on a Wednesday night, Wednesday night. Yes. Today is Thursday, June 20th, so this was last week. Now, sometime last week, we had 4 out of 6.
We had 6 chickens the size of the 2 big hens, and they all disappeared. The 4 of them disappeared. There's only 2 left, and there's no feathers, no trace of anything. They're just gone. And the smaller chickens, we had 30 of them, and 26 of them disappeared about 4 or 5 days later. There's no sign, no feathers, no anything. They're just gone. So I don't know what's happened to them. They just disappeared. But nothing's left in the last week. Or around the last week. It's been about a week. What's it been? It might have been 2 weeks since the chickens disappeared. But yeah. We had 5 red hens and 1 had 5 Rhode Island Reds and 1 barred rock, and only the barred rock and 1 Rhode Island Red's the only thing left. And then the babies, they don't seem to bother the guineas. The guineas aren't disappearing, but the chickens disappear. I don't know if they can't catch the chickens, can't catch the guineas, or what it is, but the chickens hang around, guineas hang around, and chickens disappear.
The landowner invited to show me around his property. He took me back to where he theorizes the sound came from, kind of toward the back of his property, near the creek. On the way, we started to plan out where we would like to set up base camp for the evening and set up the night vision. This landowner has a ranch of about 410 acres. He has about 150 head of cattle, and he has multiple ponds located and scattered all through his property. The landowner has many deer and sees deer almost nightly. The landowner guaranteed once we crossed the road to view the rest of his property, we would definitely see some deer, and that we did. We'll show you that a little bit later in the video. But this land is located in Muskogee County. Muskogee County has a total area of 840 square miles, of which 810 square miles is land, and 29 square miles is water. The western part of the county is prairie grassland, while the eastern part rises into the Cookson Hills on the western edge of the Ozark Mountains. The Arkansas, Verdigris, and Grand Rivers all converge in the county, causing that area to be called Three Forks.
I think that whatever made that noise that night was coming from this area down on this bottom in here. That was my guess where it was coming from.
Weber's Falls Lake on the Arkansas River covers part of the county. The landowner, his land is located in the western part, the prairie part of the county. He has multiple rolling hills throughout his property. His property looks like great habitat for a Bigfoot to hide and hunt for these deer. The landowner also showed me his creek bed, which is made of shale. We decided to look around for a little bit, look for tracks. We never saw any tracks that looked out of the ordinary, but we did find some deer tracks. Once we crossed the road, the landowner tried to point out a deer to me. Although I couldn't get this first deer on camera, we saw a deer a little bit later.
If you sit up there on that hill of the evening, you watch them deer come out right here. They graze through there. But I don't know, we seen like 5 or 6 bucks that morning. There was 4 bucks chasing this one doe, and it was funny. Because man, I mean, it was crazy. And then a couple of bucks got chasing each other, and we blew the blind this year. A blind set up there, and all the bucks and does was crossing this old fence road. We sitting right over there in the edge of the trees, and that buck was coming across there. There was a buck chasing the doe really hard. There was 4 does out there in that little patch, and that buck was chasing that doe. And then the one come behind it, and I was trying to stop that one behind him. And I mean, I just got louder and louder and just screamed at it, and it finally stopped. See, the creek just follows. That Timbers Creek. This place, it follows the creek. I guess that's the way it was sold at one time. I found it with clearing this path down. I found it with a tree growth through it and got it fished out of that tree. There's a tree that we growth it over there. They said it's like a corn shucker. You run it down, planted corn, and it pulls the ears off.
The landowner also showed me a spot where in the fall he keeps his trail camera set up. He made the comment that the trail cameras every once in a while get turned around, and he doesn't know how that happens. Very, very odd. Once night rolled around, we set up our base camp. We set up the night vision and started scanning the area for any kind of animals. We never saw any deer or any animals, but we were scanning the tree line with flashlights every once in a while, and we did catch some eye shine from a small rodent. We never identified what it was, but it was about the size of a raccoon or possum. This landowner wants some answers. He wants to know the sound that he heard. From this investigation, we couldn't quite come to a conclusion of what he heard, but he did invite me back for future investigations.